Let's have some more news. A 224 multifamily unit rental development has been approved in Oxford. A villager has claimed he has killed rats from an unkept property next door. A shopper was arrested after parking in a handicap spot at Walmart. Villager with Little White Cross wins the election in the CDD 8 board. Dead fish create a stinky mess at a pond near village's residence. A golf staffer in the villages charged with trying to set up sex with a child. A house in violation is pitched as a cheap ticket to life in the villages. Is it true? Duke Energy of Florida is seeking a price reduction. Residents in the southern end of the villages is asking, how come we don't have flowers? A repeat driving offender nabbed after leaving a Mexican restaurant and arrested for the second time in 2 weeks. How many of those ones golf we get this week? None. Letters to the editor. This and more coming up. This week's news is brought to you by my YouTube and Patreon members. Hello, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to this Friday's Villages News Updated. This is what I'm going to call probably the most interesting story this week. You may not agree, but I've been following this story for, I'm going to say 2 or 3 years now. Wayne Anderson of the village of Tamarind Grove defeated the CDD 8 supervisor Kevin McGovern in Tuesday's balloting. We rocked the world here in the village, as Anderson said, after confirming his victory. We had a cause. The cause was the cross. Anderson has been in the villages for 5 years and has spent 4 of those years fighting to keep the little white cross. So it's been 4 years. I know it's been quite a while. He has never held political office and for most of his life never believed he would put his name on a ballot. Anderson and his wife, who are from Wisconsin, kept it simple on election night. They had dinner at Burger King before checking the vote totals. That sounds like me. If I was running for office, I'd tell Sue, let's go to Taco Bell. I love it. In the end, Anderson collected 52.21% of the vote to McGovern's 48.79%. Anderson's victory will make for an uncomfortable situation in CDD 8 where supervisors, and here's the thing, where supervisors have huddled in closed sessions with their attorney to discuss legal strategy. Now, as a board member, Anderson will be privy to those executive sessions, even though he is the party being sued. McGovern had been appointed to the board in 2023. So you understand what's going on there? This is the guy that had the little white cross in his yard. I'm the guy that said, and you know, if you want to have the white cross, I got no problem, but it doesn't bother me at all, really. But there's a rule here about yard decorations. And some people are determining this is not yard decoration, and villages and supervisors are saying, yes, it is. They're saying it's got to be removed. I've always said, put it in a flower pot, no big deal. Slide it up underneath the eave of your house, because when the eave of your house in is considered to be technically technically inside your home. They can't tell you what to do inside your home. And if you put it up next to the front door, whatever, you're still displaying it, but they can't say anything about it. This guy's taking the hard road, you might say. He's saying, I ain't doing it. This is my freedom of religion. I don't really see where a white cross has anything to do with your religion at all, but he does, and that's fine. That's his beliefs. So he said, I'm not taking it out. I got to give him credit. He took it all the way, and he's still taking it all the way to the bank. And now they hired an attorney. They were going to sue him to take that cross out of the yard. He has now run for the board, defeated the other guy that was there. Now he is part of that board. So now when they have these meetings about suing him, he's got to be included in those meetings because he is now a member of that board. Bravo, Wayne. I'll say one thing for you, buddy. You got some cojones. A 224-unit multifamily rental development is planned in Oxford, about a half mile west of County Road 466 and US 301 intersection. I did video in that whole area up there, so if you go up there and look at the video about the tiny homes up there and things like that, that's the area we're talking about. Special Magistrate Lindsay C.T. Holt recommended approval of the site plan for the 25.6-acre project at a meeting Tuesday of the Wildwood Planning and Zoning Board. The City Commission is expected to consider the project later this month. Built in two phases, the Canvas at Wildwood project will include 117 two-bedroom units, 58 one-bedroom units, and 49 three-bedroom units. Amenities will feature a 3,690 square foot clubhouse, a 1,288 square foot pool, and a large dog park. There also will include a pickleball court, game lawn area, and a 450 square foot workout area. Landscape buffers and stormwater retention pond and lighting are among the planned improvements. Campus communities are comprised of single-family leased homes built by Watermark Properties in Minnesota, Indiana, Texas, Tennessee, and Colorado. The original real estate company was launched to support the operating budget of Chicago Hope Academy, a college and high school that serve inner-city youth. Founded in 2013, Watermark Projects now supports a half dozen nonprofit organizations. Not 100% sure exactly what they're dancing around here. Sounds like to me, they're going to teach a bunch of high school kids career opportunities. Electrician, framing, plumbing, heating and air, concrete work. I got no problem with that if that's what they're going to do. They're going to use these projects as a way of training these kids how to make a decent living when they get out of school. A golf staffer in the Villages has been charged with trying to set up sex with a child. David Carberry, 71, who is the golf staff lead at Bonifay Championship Course, has been arrested on Marion County warrants charging him with using a computer to solicit a parent, legal guardian, or custodian of a child for unlawful sexual conduct and unlawful use of a two-way communications device. He was booked at the Marion County Jail on Monday and released after posting a $4,000 bond.
The New York native
began working at Bonifay in June. He previously worked at Evans Prairie and Cane Gardens. He worked for 31 years as a vocational instructor and a computer technician, retiring in 2011 from the New York State Department of Corrections. I got a comment here. These sexual predators coming to the Villages seems like it's becoming just a standard thing anymore. People's accepted it. I don't accept it. I never will accept it, especially out here. This guy worked for a country club. He's worked for 3 country clubs in the Villages. Now, does anybody vet these people anymore? You know, when I worked at UPS, simple truck driving job. People hire in as a simple forklift driver on a dock. We had to go to drug tests. Some of them were subject to have background checks for criminal problems or drug problems. You had to have drug tests. We were scrutinized like crazy before we would even get that job. Here we got people coming down here in a retirement community. They want to allow kids here, a school, all these kinds of things in a retirement community, and yet they're hiring people and they're not even vetting them. It just drives me nuts. People are renting out houses and they don't vet the person renting that house. They hire a property management company to keep these houses rented out, and they don't vet the person going in that house. And half these people that are child predators, they are in rental homes. What's the matter with us? And we're allowing this to happen and not raising hell. A Village of Hawkins couple could face fines over their unauthorized landscaping. You know, I've mentioned it over and over again. Hawkins is a fairly new area. If you're new to the villages, you cannot go out there in your property and just willy-nilly plant a tree wherever you want, willy-nilly do landscaping work. And if you're going to hire a landscaping company to do something, and if they tell you, well, I'll get the permission for you, I'll go ahead and I'll submit the plans and I'll go ahead and get it for you, which a lot of them do that. But here's what you need to do to cover your ass. Tell them before you do any work, I want a copy of that permit that says you can do this. I want a copy of ARC's approval. I've done it 3 times, and every time they've came here and gave me that approval, usually days before they even show up to do the work. If you don't do that, then you can't complain. The home of Robert and Jacqueline Cox at 5716 Brett Way was the subject of a public hearing this week in front of a special magistrate Terry Neal at the district's office at Lake Sumter Landing. The couple purchased the home in 2021 for $623,100. A complaint was lodged on August the 8th with community standards alleging that the landscaping at the home had been put in without approval of the Architectural Review Committee, and I'm going to say this one more time too. I'll probably be saying it again. This ain't going to be the last time. You don't want to play games here with the ARC or the Architectural Review Committee. They don't like you snubbing your nose at them. And then if you come back later and say, well, I'll just resubmit, they're going to tell you no. They're going to tell you to rip it out, then submit a plan, which could be the exact plan, and then they may approve it to teach you a lesson. Just don't get involved with that. Community Standards verified the complaint and spoke with Jacqueline Cox, who said she would reach out to their landscaper for a proper ARC application. Too late. I'm telling you, if you get it, it'll be a miracle. It's too late. A retroactive application was submitted to the ARC in August, but was denied. I'm shocked. The ARC examined the application and pictures submitted, but found that the submitted plans didn't match the pictures and a trellis appeared to be encroaching on an easement. Community Standards reached out to the couple and let them know an updated ARC application would need to be submitted. Jacqueline Cox told Community Standards she would relay this information to her husband. A notice of a public hearing was sent to the couple, but they did not show up at the hearing. See, they're not going to take this serious. My land, my house, I'll do what I want. I mean, I'm smelling that here. A special magistrate, a former Lake County judge, made clear the next steps the couple should take. They need to get the application filed in the next 14 days and bring it into compliance within 30 days, Neal said. If the couple fails to follow the special magistrate's order, they will face fines. And you'll have to pay them fines because it'll be put on your property tax bill. I feel frustrated that people keep spending thousands of dollars on things they don't need to spend money on because they just keep making the same mistakes over and over again. Sorry, I'm ranting. Well, maybe somebody is actually listening to some of my videos, I hope. The police. By the way, I've got a good relationship with the police departments. I haven't spoke to all the officers or anything, but they know I support them. A shopper was arrested after parking in a handicap spot at Walmart. I'm sure there's more to this story. A white Chevrolet Malibu had been reported for reckless driving on Thursday night and was found in a handicap spot in Walmart in Summerfield, according to the arrest report of the Marion County Sheriff's Office. Hey, Marion County. The deputy noted the vehicle did not have a handicap license plate and it did not have a placard hanging off the rearview mirror. The deputy also spotted a marijuana bud in the car. There you go. I knew there had to be more to this story. A short time later, the vehicle's owner, 36-year-old James Matthew Johnson of Summerfield, came walking out of the store and headed to the car. The deputy asked him if he had a handicap placard or if he was handicapped. He admitted he was not handicapped. A clear organizer box was found in the passenger seat of the vehicle. The box contained numerous individual packaged substances, including pills identified as alprazolam and hydrocodone. You know, that's weird. Where do these guys get these hydrocodone pills? Because when I was in serious pain, I mean serious pain, I'm not a druggie of any sort. I wanted some pain pills until I could see the dentist again within 10 days. And they said they couldn't really give me any because of state laws. Well, I don't know. Never mind. He did not have a prescription for the pills. Other drugs found by the deputy included cocaine, fentanyl, marijuana, and methamphetamine. Ammunition and drug paraphernalia were also found in the car. Johnson is a convicted felon and not allowed to possess ammunition. He was placed on federal felony probation in 2023 and is scheduled to end in 2026. Not anymore. He was arrested on numerous drug charges as well as a charge of unlawful possession of ammunition by a felon. He was booked without bond at the Marion County Jail. Keep him there. Seriously, I'm so sick of these drug addicts, these druggies, and all this stuff. Just keep them there. A villager claimed he killed a rat from an unkept property next door. James Yates, who lives in the Forsyth Villas near Mulberry Grove Plaza, testified at a public hearing Monday afternoon in front of Judge Terry Neal at the district office at Lake Sumter Landing. The public hearing was about the home on Daniel Sherry at 8415 Southeast 167th Forsyth Street. I have had rats come under my fence. I killed one. The other got away too fast. It's very unsightly, Yates said of the villa next door. Yeah, it is. I see pictures here. You'll see them too. Be back here somewhere. There have been plenty of problems, including an old red Corvette that sat in the driveway for many months and had been believed to be inoperable. A realtor has been trying to sell the home and reportedly pushed the Corvette into the garage. Yates filed the first complaint about the property back in May. He said the grass has become like a hayfield and indicated it's waist high. He said that bushes from the property are growing into his gutter. The bottom line is it's not in compliance, Judge Terry Neal said. The homeowner was granted 7 days to bring the property into compliance. If the home is not brought into compliance, fines will be imposed. Don't you find it funny that, boy, they sure know how to push them fines when it comes to grass, weeds, bushes that aren't trimmed, but when it comes to outsiders with no ID of any kind, trespassing in people's yards to fish in a pond that belongs to us, that nobody seems to know what to do about that, or somebody parks their golf cart up on a sidewalk, we're not sure how to handle that. I just find this ironic that some of the seriousness of things being challenged here never get addressed. Let's have some more news. A fender bender at Colony Plaza led to the arrest of an unlicensed driver from Colombia. Edouard Yamid Vargas, I can't say that last name, I'll try to put it in the video. We'll call him Ed. 38 of Orlando, had been at the wheel of a black 2017 Hyundai Accent when he backed into another vehicle at about 10:30 a.m. Wednesday at the 7-Eleven at Colony Plaza, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. A computer check revealed that the native of Colombia has never obtained a driver's license in the United States. He was arrested on a charge of operating a motor vehicle without a license. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released on a $150 bond. I swear to you, if I have to go to court for something, I'm going to use these past cases as a reason to give me a $25 bond or something and let me out. This is ridiculous. By the way, he got done washing my house. I'm just bringing it up. That's why it's taking me a little bit longer to do this. You guys can't tell, but I'm telling you anyway. He just got done washing the house. I had all my stackable bricks and I had all my curbing steam cleaned. Done a wonderful job. Jason is the guy that's been doing my house now for, I don't even know how many years. I've been here 10. I know he's been doing it for like at least a 7 out of those 10, maybe more than that, because we use no pressure house wash and they took care of our first house. And they've been taking care of this house. So Jason's probably been doing it for a long time. But I like Jason. I trust Jason. I know I don't have to be here to make sure Jason does a good job. A home in the Villages is in violation of deed compliance is being pitched as a potential bargain for someone looking for a good life in
Florida's friendliest hometown.
The home located at 814 Roseapple Avenue on the historic site of the Villages was the subject of a public hearing this week before Special Magistrate Terry Neal at the district office at Lake Sumter Landing. A complaint was lodged with Community Standards on August the 1st about overgrown grass, bushes, and weeds, and we won't tolerate that here. Multiple attempts to contact the homeowner have been unsuccessful according to Community Standards. The house is currently listed for sale at $160,000 and is being touted as a bargain. This home is your ticket to the Villages lifestyle at an affordable price, according to the listing on Zillow. However, The new owner may have to deal with some fines if the home is purchased and not brought into compliance. And I've told people that. If you see something that looks questionable, check it out. Because if you put your name on that dotted line and there's some fines on that house, or it's out of compliance or something like that, you're the one that's going to be held responsible. And the excuse of, well, that's the way it was when I bought this house here, isn't going to fly. The special magistrate ordered that the house be brought into compliance within a week. A villager has tried to deny the presence of weeds in his yard in a deed compliance case. The property owned by Leonard Cirillo at 17964 Southeast 83rd Pineland Terrace was the subject of a deed compliance case this week before Special Magistrate Terry Neal at the district office at Lake Sumter Landing. A complaint was lodged July 30th about weeds and lack of maintenance at the home. Community Standards contacted the homeowner, who got the grass cut and removed a vine. However, the weeds are still present. Cirillo indicated he was going to be out of town, but said he would address the situation. When it was discovered the weeds were still present, Cirillo denied the presence of the weeds according to the testimony presented at the public hearing of Community Standards. Cirillo was granted 7 days to bring the property into compliance. If he fails to do so, he will be fined. As you can see, snowbirds are coming back and properties are being told to get it back into shape. They think that when they go home, out of sight, out of mind, I don't live there, I'm not there, I don't have to do anything, and that's not the way it works. This is going to be some good news, somewhat. The Florida Public Service Commission has approved Duke Energy Florida's request to lower the rates and decrease customer bills in January 2025 as part of an annual adjustment for the cost of fuel used to generate electricity at the company's power plants, as well as other clause adjustments. Typical residential customers using 1,000 kilowatt hours will see a decrease of $9.77 on their January 2025 bill when compared to December 2024. Commercial and industrial customers will see bill decreases ranging from 5.1 to 11.1%, though the specific amount will vary depending on several factors. Duke Energy Florida is thankful for the opportunity to offer our customers this much needed break after recent hurricanes devastated many of their homes, said Duke Energy Florida state president. While we're still assessing cost of the company's response in those storms, we want to remind our customers that we'll always prioritize affordability, even as we work to develop a smarter, stronger electric grid and maintain the same high level of service that's expected and deserved. It's a long ad. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but there you go. They're going to cut our rates a little bit. When was the last time you heard that? To be honest with you, I don't think I'm Duke Energy, so it doesn't affect me at all. In the villages, there's two kinds of electric companies here in the villages, two that I know of. Duke Energy, which is basically the ones down south, and then we have Seco, which is basically Highway 44 north. There could be an extra one in there somewhere. I'm not 100% sure, but those are the two main ones. The villages south of State Road 44 look starkly different than northern sections of
Florida's friendliest hometown.
District Property Management has received numerous questions about those differences. At times, residents south of State Road 44 have voiced their displeasure about the lack of flowers, which are so plentiful in the north. That's not true. They're not so plentiful in the north. But I get your argument, because this argument is not new. This argument's been going on every time they build a new area of the villages. This is one of the arguments that constantly comes up. The landscaping. Where's our flowers? How come we ain't got no trees? You heard it when I was building the golf course down there. There's no trees on this golf course. That's the argument. It comes in spurts. We'll get there. But I'll tell you why you don't see very many flowers anymore. You're not going to like my answer, but I'm going to tell you why you don't see flowers much anymore. Your dog. People are so rude when they walk their dog. They let them pee on everything around the flowers, pee on the trees, pee in the square. They don't care. In front of Panera Bread and Lake Sumter Landing was nothing but flowers once upon a time. And I sat there and people came up with their dogs and just let them whiz all over the flowers. We're sitting outside having coffee and a roll, and a guy came up with this big dog and let him take a big dump right in front of us. That's how people are. So you can't blame the dog, it's the people. But that's why you don't see flowers, because they're tired of replacing them. It all has to do with the design intent, which came from the developer. No, a lot of this came from us, you, things that we do and how they can cut costs. See, when you say, well, the flowers only cost a couple of bucks, that's not true at all. And you got to hire this person in a truck or whatever. They got to go get those flowers. These flowers aren't readily available year round. They order them from some plant company from who knows where and bring them in. And then he's got to plant them. Then they got to water them. So no, it ain't $2 plant. The design intent in these areas promotes a more natural look, with the less manicured landscapes, wider, more open areas, multimodal paths that are pulled away from roadways, more mature trees, more riprap rocks, and less annuals, said Director of Property Management Mike Harris. It's also better for the environment. Florida-friendly landscaping encourages reduced use of chemicals and water while allowing plants to thrive naturally without the need of excessive trimming and shaping. That's true. Utilizing Florida-friendly landscaping is good for the environment and the Floridian aquifer, Harris said. Let me tell you about that Floridian aquifer also. They did District 10 with nothing but zoysia grass because it supposedly takes less water. Well, that turned out to be a load of crap, because even though it may take less water, it takes 10 times more fertilizer, it takes more weed control and all that kind of stuff, because zoysia is a real pain in the butt to handle. I've got zoysia. There's constantly other grasses wanting to grow in here. The people just give up after a while because you just can't even control it. Different maintenance guidelines apply to various common areas, including lower maintenance zones. These areas may not be mowed weekly. Instead, they are mowed once a month, allowing grass to grow and significantly reduce mowing costs. Certain buffer zones and wetlands are initially allowed to grow naturally, enhancing their integration with the surrounding environment. And even though I don't like to agree with everything they say, what he says makes a lot of sense. It really does. Being a farmer, I know how costly it is to fertilize, spray for bugs, spray for weeds. It just goes on and on and on. So if you can put something down that dog pee ain't going to kill, and the greenery they replace things with up in Lake Sumter, it's still there. Dogs still pee on it. People still don't care. So I understand the cost. Well, this guy looks familiar. I think we did a report on this guy last week. A Cervere restaurant in the Villages has been arrested for the second time in 2 weeks. Javier Mendez Hernandez, 35, of Bellevue, was driving a gray 2014 Honda passenger car at 10:38 p.m. Thursday in the parking lot of Tequila Cantina Mexican restaurant at Southern Trace Plaza when he was spotted by a Sumter County Sheriff's deputy. The same deputy had arrested, man, you have no luck at all, same deputy. The same deputy had arrested Mendez on October 31 when he was in the same vehicle and failed to come to a complete stop at the stop sign at County Road 101 and County Road 104. The native of Mexico does not have a driver's license issued in the United States. At the time he was arrested Thursday, he was free on bond from October 31st arrest. He was taken into custody on a charge of driving without a license. He was booked at Sumter County Detention Center on a $500 bond. They even gave him bond. Second arrest, still on bond, arrested again, and they gave him a second bond. Go figure. Hope you guys can't hear that. They're washing my house. Oh well, nothing I can do about it. Dead fish are creating a terrible stink for homeowners near a pond in the Villages. However, the buzzards are loving it while they are enjoying a feast. The pond located in the village of Hacienda East drained very suddenly and created a situation in which the fish quickly began dying, according to residents who lived near the pond. Last time that happened up at Hacienda in the golf course up there, seems to me there was a series of sinkholes. I'm going to say a total of 6, all in the same area, but they were popping up in different places. One pond emptied out, I think, twice. They finally filled it in with dirt and sand and put trees and flowers in it. I don't know. It's just a thought. Maybe this is more of it. Apparently, the reason the pond drained was due to a problem with a valve or a pipe, as the large pond is used for the transfer of stormwater. There you go. Most ponds in the Villages are still quite high from Hurricane Milton. They are. Cross Creek Environmental Personnel, the contractor that works on pond maintenance for the Villages district government, was at the pond in the village of Hacienda East on Tuesday trying to clean up the mess. It's a stinky situation. A villager with an overgrowth violation at his home testified in a public hearing that he's had a tough time finding a landscaper. No. They're all over the place. The home of Dwayne Buck at 1537 Doral Circle on the historic site of the Villages was the subject of a public hearing Monday afternoon before Judge Terry Neal at the district office at Lake Sumter Landing. A complaint was lodged on July 25 about overgrown landscaping at his home. He said he thought he had a landscaper lined up for the work. However, the landscaper claimed his truck broke down. And then the landscaper disappeared, Buck said. Call another one. You're not paying for this stuff in advance anyway, are you? I am working with this, Buck told the judge. He said he has reached out to the landscaper that his neighbor uses and is making progress. I don't understand what you mean making progress. He comes over, he looks at your mess. How much are you going to charge me to cut all this back and haul the junk away? He says it'll be $200. I'm using that just as a number. You say, okay, when can you start? He says next Tuesday. He shows up, it's done, it's over with. This stuff and negotiating back and forth, this is all, you're just buying time. He showed photos to representatives of community standards indicating that some of the work has been done. Judge Neal granted Buck 7 days to bring the property into compliance. If he fails to do so, he could be facing fines. Buck expressed confidence that the work would be completed within the 7-day limit. In September, Buck had been before Judge Neal for landscaping that did not have prior approval from the Architectural Review Committee. You just don't learn. How about a couple letters to the editor? Some help here is needed. I've been trying to get help for our neighborhood at no avail. A baby resides in our neighborhood and the people are very young, moving here when she was pregnant. They knew the rules and broke them anyway. Defiant? Yes. I've gone every route with the Villages. So when you say the Villages, you're talking about the developer or one of his offices. I wish people would start being specific. What office have you called and talked to? I've gone every route with the Villages, and they tell me, yes, they are in total violation of Statute 2.24, but if I would like, I can hire an attorney. What? This is what she says. What? That's what they do here. They point the finger. Call a cop. Call an attorney. Go over here. Go over there. We didn't make the rules. We're just trying to follow the rules, and we expect everybody else to follow them, and the ones that don't follow them, we expect the person who made these rules for us to follow to enforce them. They broke that rule when they had a baby. Any suggestions? I personally think our VC, DD, and development district needs to either be more aggressive or do a better job at keeping these families from being in a retirement neighborhood. It's not like the Villages has not given them a beautiful area called Middleton. And why wouldn't they want to live there anyway? We all want them gone, and no one even associates with them. That's sent in by Candace Smith from the Village of DeLuna. Now, I know some of you are going to say, especially that last paragraph I read, you're going to say, well, that just seems like a cruel person. No, it's not. There's rules here, and people know the rules, and then they ignore the rules. My complaint is, I bought here largely because of a lot of these rules, but I didn't know years ago that even though they say, well, yeah, if you have a problem with this rule or that rule, you need to call this number. That's what they do. Give you a number. Call this number, and they'll take care of it. Wrong. Nobody enforces the rule. The developer, I'm calling you out. You made these rules in these districts. We have to sign a paper saying we will follow these rules. When people like this here don't follow them rules, what are you doing? Anyway, thanks for the letter. Thanks for the complaint. Candace Smith, I am not throwing rocks at you. A lot of what you say there, I have no answer to, but I have the same questions you do. I don't know why they're not enforcing the rules. The editor. This is a response to Candace's letter, I think. I saw a letter to the editor on here recently from a woman named Candace saying she is not happy that her neighbor has a newborn baby living there, as that violates the rules. It even violates the 80-20 rule. Yet everyone in the comment is attacking her and telling her to let them live wherever they want. I find that hilarious. If that is the case, what is the point of the rules? Get off your high horse, people, and leave Candace alone. Stop attacking like you couldn't care less about the rules. If your neighbor decided one day to stop taking care of the yard and left tires in the yard, broken down vehicles in the driveway, and bricks and grass 5 feet tall, you would be complaining in a heartbeat. Or maybe a neighbor moves in a bunch of 20, 25-year-olds who play loud music all day long. You would complain. So stop. Rules are the rules, and that is what keeps the Villages in line. I agree. The sad part of this entire situation is, I fear, Candace, is the villages will never help you with this issue. The rules are only followed by the villages if they can do something about it without having to hire lawyers. That is sent in by Charles Brand from the village of St. Charles. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. I've complained enough. Letters to the editor, I read them so you can see what other people are talking about, not just me. Still a pretty good place to live, but it's not perfect. And if you think it is, you're in for a shock. But I like it here. And I'm not going anywhere soon. I'm just trying to be fair with you about my comment. I'm just going to get out of here and say, have a great day. Stay well. Stay safe. Stay alert. Beware. Watch the roundabouts.
And don't leave your key in that